Hey, welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of The Stories That Shape Us. I'm your host, Brock Doty. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that many people wrestle with, unlocking your true purpose. And I can't think of a better guest to explore this with than Carson Stephens. Before we jump into today's conversation, I want to just set the stage with a thought that I've been thinking about. Passion and purpose are often confused, but they're not the same thing. Passion is the fuel. It's what excites you. It's what you love doing, and it gets your heart racing. But purpose, on the other hand, purpose is much deeper. It's the direction that you give that passion. It's about making a lasting impact, giving back, and using what excites you and inspires you to contribute to something greater than yourself. Many of you might be wondering, where does potential fit into all this in this conversation? Well, let me break that down for you. Each and every one of us carries an incredible well of untapped potential, a reservoir of talent, creativity, and strength that's just waiting to be unleashed. Your potential is about what you can do. It's about who you are and who you're capable of becoming. When you recognize that potential, you realize that your passion isn't just a fleeting spark, but it's a catalyst for a life-changing journey. All right, think of it this way. Passion is what makes you feel alive, but purpose is what transforms that energy into a lasting impact. So when you harness your passion and channel it with a clear purpose, you unlock your full potential. Your skills, your interests, and your untapped abilities, they all come together as one to create something powerful. Something that's not only elevates you, but also elevates you to serve others. Too often, people chase their passions without a clear purpose. For an example, would be starting projects or careers that excite them in the moment, but ultimately don't fulfill them in the long run. They end up burning out. They feel like they're missing that deeper connection and the recognition of their potential to drive, to use it for the greater good. So, how do we take our passions and turn them into a meaningful pursuit of purpose? It all starts by acknowledging that your potential is just as essential as your passion. So I want you to ask yourself throughout this episode, what is it that excites you that you could also benefit others? For me personally, it's connecting with other people and fostering a personal growth throughout conversations. And that's just not a hobby for me, but that's the very essence of what my potential is. And so that's what has led me to create my podcast that you are listening here today, The Stories That Shape Us. It's not just something that I enjoy, but ultimately it's a platform for unleashing the power within us all. A space to give people a voice to the dreams and challenges and victories that define who we are. So, without further ado, today a very special guest is a very special episode of The Stories That Shape Us. I'm super excited to announce and welcome our very first guest here on the show. He's here to share his journey and his experiences that have shaped him into the man he is today. So I'm super pumped and excited to introduce a good buddy of mine, Carson Stephens. Carson, what's going on, my man?
Hey, Brock, how are you? I just wanted to say thank you so much. It's a real honor, a real blessing to be able to be on your podcast, be the first guest, and share my story with people because I've always been a firm believer if you can't share your story, people won't share their story. And I mean, whenever you were showing me like the essence of this podcast, the basis of it, the foundation, and the reason behind it, it just really got me all excited and happy for you. So I first want to say I'm proud of you, man, for venturing out and doing this because you're going to impact so many lives in a positive way. You're going to encourage others, and you're already doing so. You encourage me, you inspire me every single day. So I want to just give my hat off to you on that one, buddy. Yeah, I'm excited. So unlocking your true purpose, it really is something that most people, I think they have, but really are kind of mixed up, and I'm so glad you defined passion and purpose because they are two different things. Passion is what drives you, what motivates you, what inspires you. Purpose is the intentionality behind it, like
Absolutely.
what guides you. So a little bit about me. So I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I am a speech therapist by trade, and I work with kids. I love what I do. So for me, I thought that was my purpose all along, to be a speech therapist, because I myself stuttered at a young age. I still do to this day every once in a while, whenever I get excited, whenever I get nervous. And I've learned now since recently that this is more of a stepping stone, because I feel like I'm not supposed to be a speech therapist for all my life. I think I'm really called to become a motivational speaker. And this is just like a pit stop. And because, I mean, for those of you who don't know, so every day, or at least almost every single day, I try to send out a motivational devotion. It's my own creation, and I really feel it's beneficial to people. People have been admired by it. They love it. It really helps them out. And I do it from a place of love and humbleness, not for arrogance or for clout or for reward. It really makes a difference in people's life. Because I mean, a lot of the feedback is I needed this in this moment. And honestly, I think my thing is whenever I start typing or writing, it just comes naturally. I don't stop. So I know I kind of answered your question and then some.
And I've been on the receiving end of those text messages, and I love them. I look forward to them every day. And I know that you have some powerful insights to share. You did mention by day that you are a speech therapist, and that is a path that you took after overcoming your own struggles. And I think that someone that is truly unlocking their purpose through life's ups and downs, many of us are, right? But your journey has not been a straight path, overcoming your own struggles and your own setbacks. Carson, you've reinvented yourself along the way by transforming your goals and evolving into a savvy entrepreneur as well as a speech therapist. I take inspiration by that. And so your story is a relatable matter that our purpose isn't fixed, and sometimes it can change, it can grow, and it can unfold in the most unexpected ways. So I guess I encourage our listeners, as you listen to Carson and I speak today, I want you to keep in mind and ask yourself, am I chasing passion or am I building a purpose? Am I truly tapping into my unlocked potential? Because passion alone doesn't last, right? So throughout this episode, I challenge you all listening to start aligning your passions with a purpose that is bigger than yourself. Because when you do that, you'll tap into your full potential. And that's when your work, your life, and your journey truly become meaningful. And so, like I said, Carson, I'd love to hear your story of what has made Carson Stephens the man he is today. Like, I see you in your glory, man. God is really shaping you. You are always a light, and I love it, man. It's awesome. But obviously, like, there's been some struggles along the way that you've gone through. There's been some mountaintops, but there's also been some valleys. And so, let me ask you this. Everybody's journey looks different, right? And there's usually
Right.
a moment or a series of moments that sparks a shift in perspective. So, Carson, can you take us back to the very first moment where you started questioning your purpose in life?
Yeah, so I would say it was back in 2013, so a good solid 12 years ago. I went through a very, very deep depression for about 8 years. And I was like, am I even doing the right thing? Am I even showing up for myself? Am I letting people know who the real me is, the real Carson Stephens? For a long time, I let my stutter define me. I let people influence how I walked, how I talked, how I interacted, how I engaged. And it really crippled me to the point where, I mean, I tried to kill myself twice because I didn't think I was good enough for anybody or anything. And I was like, I'm wasting my time here. I'd be better off dead. And I mean, I don't tell this to have people feel sorry for me. I tell it to be honest and to be upfront. I tell it how it is. We all go through struggles, and a lot of people don't want to divulge it, but I think it's a very important part of my testimony and my life. And if I hadn't gone through that, I think I wouldn't be here today and doing this podcast because it really shaped me. It really allowed me to be like, okay, that was the lowest of my lows. And now, right now, I'm still grinding. I'm still being productive and still making a difference and doing everything. I'm learning to not care what people think about me, and really just be myself, accept it for what it is, and keep on being me, keep showing up for myself, for my future family, really just be intentional. So what it comes down to is really being honest with yourself, calling yourself out, being disciplined, saying what you mean, and doing it with authority. Be true on your word. I know so many times people will say, I'm gonna do this or I'll be there and everything, and they don't follow through. So follow through. If you're purposely misleading them, you are going to lose credibility, you are gonna ruin your reputation, and you're gonna lose friends or family that you do have left. So and people catch on to that more likely than none. And word goes around, and once they hear about you and they're like, oh, Carson, you've invited Carson, yeah, he won't be here. So it really put things into perspective for me, and I just I'm glad I'm where I'm at right now in life, because I never want to go back to the Carson that was back in 2013, 2021. It just, those 8 years, I'm glad I went through them because it reminded me of a place I never want to go back to.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, praise God you're still here. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy that we've developed such a great friendship, man. You're definitely somebody that I didn't say this in the intro, but you're definitely somebody that has lighted the path a little bit and introduced me to people and shown me the way of podcasting. And so I'm grateful for you, man. And so, wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy. But we all have to overcome doubt and setbacks. What do you say to the people out there that are struggling with self-doubt and that are trying to pursue their true purpose, but just don't know where to start?
I would say it's okay to struggle, because a lot of people hear that and they're like, "Oh, I'm less of a person, less of an individual. There's no way I can get out of the situation I'm in right now." And people have to give themselves grace. You have to give yourself grace and pass, because I mean, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to have falls, you're going to have rises, you're going to live on mountains, you're going to live in valleys, and you just have to give yourself grace. Have high standards but low expectations. At the same time, like if you have a to-do list of things you have to do on a certain day and you don't get all of them done, that's okay. It's okay to struggle because it means you're doing something right. So many people want that instant gratification, that IG, not Instagram, that instant gratification. They want to be able to have it now. But when they look at themselves, they're like, oh, I'm not where I want to be. Well, no, duh, because you're not remaining true to who you are. And I think people can benefit from that little metaphorical example about passion and then versus productive and purpose. I think it's something that people need to realize and kind of look at, and that's why we defined those in the beginning. Because people think, "Oh yeah, I'm doing so well because I'm so passionate about this." But what happens when it doesn't go your way? You lose the passion, you lose that fire, you lose that fuel. And I'm like, don't let that flame inside of you be extinguished, because I mean, only you can extinguish it. And if you give up when you're struggling, you're never going to succeed. You're never going to achieve what you want in life, because you easily give up.
Wow, that's powerful. You did touch on the IG, both Instagram and instant gratification. We definitely live in a society filled with IG. Everyone wants to post their life on the social media. They want to post their highlights. We live in a microwave society. Instant gratification is tailored to I want it now, and I am not willing to work for it. And so this leads me to my next question: is life is full of valleys and mountaintops, man. You're going to have to go through those tough times to be able to reach out and impact more people. And so this is another reason why I wanted to bring you on is, man, your story is phenomenal. And I'm sure there's several people out there that have battled depression. And so, how have you made it out of that and stayed committed to your purpose and not revolted to your own ways when success feels out of reach?
Yeah, I'm gonna sum it up in one word: God. The Bible tells us to never leave us or forsake us. There's been times where I've went against God, went against my faith, and I felt guilty as charged, and I was. And the fact that He didn't like shame me, He didn't leave me, He didn't abandon me whenever I needed Him most, or whenever I was living my own life, it really shaped me. And he guides my compass, he guides my life, and without him nothing would be possible. So I would encourage those, and I'm not going to preach to you or anybody watching this on the replay, but really find your foundation in God. It really comes down to being obedient to him and doing things that you're not going to want to do, that's not going to get you the results right away. Because I mean, it's a non-negotiable. It's God's way or or no way. Because I mean, if you're doing it the world's way, yeah, you might get some results, but not the ones that are going to be long lasting. I've always said this phrase that we as humans choose who we want in our life, but God puts people in our life that should be there. And honestly, the ones that God puts in our life that should be there last a lot longer than those I choose. So it really makes a difference. And I mean, I can only just thank God for all that He's done for me. It really has shaped me, really has allowed me to become the person I am today. And I wouldn't be there. And I met great people, including yourself, that I've now called family. Because I mean, having that firm, strong foundation of Christ will allow you to be happier. You're going to struggle because God's molding you. He's forming you. He's shaping you into bigger and better things. People look at success as like having money, having life and all that stuff, but I mean like being successful means you wake up the next morning. It's the little things. I mean like you're winning cuz you woke up today. God could have said, "You know what? Your time is done." And kept your eyes shut. And so without him, it wouldn't be the same, you know, and I trust him in everything that he does, even though sometimes I might go away. I still find my way back to him. And it just makes life so much easier, so much more worthy and worth the while rather than having to figure it out on my own.
No, amen, man. Well said. Well said. That leads me to my next question. I guess we'll transition into this one. How do faith, mindset, and personal values play a role in unlocking and staying true to your purpose?
Yeah. So, I mean, without faith, you don't have a purpose in my eyes, because if you're not faith driven, if you're not faith motivated, then you're basically throwing something against the wall and hoping that it sticks. Um, I think without faith, you just have passion. And if you just have passion, then you don't have an end goal. You don't have a reason. And because because passion is like that fire. It's going to go out at, once you hit a dead end. And I mean, if you can't celebrate the bad times, then you don't deserve to cherish the good ones. You know, so many times I look at it as an example, like, okay, people that were there for me in my bad times are going to be there for me in my good times. But people that are just there in my good times, not the bad times, they don't deserve to be in my life. And that's why I sent that thing yesterday about the no such thing as true friends and fake friends, because they're either for you or against you. There's no gray area, no in between. And people are like, oh, they were just a fake friend. I'm like, no. You know, they were sent for a purpose and for a reason. And whether they're there for a long time or a short time, they had that purpose and that purpose was fulfilled. But really, faith has keeps my purpose going. And what it comes down to is believing that whatever God wants for me. And I know people are like, well, we talk about God and all this stuff, and I want people to know that I'm human. This is the real me, and this is what you're going to get out of me. if it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for him constantly shaping me and molding me and really allowing me to live out my life and see what's in store for me, then it then he wouldn't be a loving and just father like you said in the Bible. And so I believe without faith, you're not gonna live out your full potential, your full purpose, your true calling in life. And you're gonna keep doors locked that would be open to people that are in line with what God says. And so if you don't have faith at your center, then you're missing out on a lot that life has to offer. That's what I would say on that one.
Oh, that's good.
I think because a lot of people, because faith, as we know, is something that we don't see. Faith is something that we believe in. And so people want to see things before they do something. And I'm like, then you have no faith.
I had a pastor in high school explain faith, childlike faith per se, so good. So take a kid, whatever age, 5 years old, say, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million. They'd believe it. They'd go, okay, cool. Where's it at? But hey, Carson, I'm going to give you $1 million. You're like, yeah, right, Brock. Like, whatever. But you just need to have the faith that I'm actually going to come through with my $1 million. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's there. And that's really stuck with me is kids are so trusting and they have that childlike faith that we often lose as we grow older. And so I guess that leads me to my next question for you, Carson. If you were to go back and give your younger self one piece of advice about purpose, what would it be?
Oof. I get this question a lot, and my answer changes ever so slightly each day that I get to be that I'm blessed to be here. And I would say that if I were to tell my younger self what about purpose, I would say your purpose is to spread light. Your purpose is to be a beacon of light, and that no matter what is happening around you, whether the world is crumbling or the world is staying where it's at, your purpose is to be a messenger. Your purpose is to be somebody that people look up to, that people look to for wisdom, for advice. Not saying I have all the answers because I don't, but being a genuine good person, being a fair and just person, respecting others and allowing them to know that you are a safe space is one of the biggest things and the biggest flexes I could tell somebody. Because I mean, so many people mistrust their peers, their family, or whoever they come in contact with. And trust is something for me, it is earned. And I want people to feel comfortable sharing what they want, whether it's deep stuff or surface level. I want them to feel comfortable. And if I can be that vent for people, then my purpose has been accomplished in life. So I want to be a safe place for people, whether they're complete strangers or they're close friends or family. I want to be that beacon of light. I want to be that person. Okay, oh, you need some advice? Go to Carson. I want people to know that they have someone in their corner, regardless of what they're going through in life. And I really try to do that in my posts, in my devotionals, and just in my lives and my stories. I want to be a welcoming, I want to be a warm individual for people so they know what they're getting.
Awesome, man. What is one thing that you hope listeners take away from our conversation today?
Just one thing? No, I'm just kidding.
Just one.
I mean, what I would say is, and I like to use example a lot. It's like look yourself in the mirror, and I want you to smile. Because I mean, you have come so far in your life, and you are good enough. You have done so well, and I'm proud of you. I want you to know that no matter what people think about you, no matter what people say to you behind closed doors or behind your back, that you are making a positive impact on this world, and you are changing people's lives in the best of ways. And so I never want you to think that you're less of an individual just because someone said something that wasn't necessarily aligned with what you believe in. So pat yourself on the back, give yourself a round of applause because you're doing great, and you will continue to be a light in this world and whatever way it looks like. So I want to encourage people that to give themselves credit and never change who they are, remain true to themselves, and really be proud of who they've become thus far in life and continue to be every single day.
And that's beautiful, man. All right. How about last question here for you, Carson? What is
Okay.
next for you? How do you continue to grow in your purpose moving forward after this conversation today?
Brock, I just want to continue being me. I just want to continue being open and transparent, and in a lot of cases unfiltered, because I mean that's my tag. I like to just tell it how it is and be straightforward with people. So continuing to live out my purpose is to just be that positive role model for people that are young, that are older, that are my age, my peers, what have you. Whoever wants to come into my life, I want to accept with open arms, because I know that that's what God does for me and for you and for every one of his children. I want to continue to be that beacon of light, and I think the biggest thing for me is to remain true to myself and really don't allow people that are gonna potentially ruin my life or try to get me off course. Stay true to myself. Like I said, and I keep saying that because it's very, very important. I don't do it because I stutter. I do it because it's the truth. Because if you're not true to yourself and true to your values and your morals, then you're slowly becoming somebody else unconsciously. I want everybody to be self-conscious, self-aware, and not necessarily worry about things out of their control, but be mindful of what's going on, and really have self-discipline, self-ambition, and in some cases be selfish, because and that's my thing that I'm learning every single day, to be more selfish, because I have been selfless and it has hurt in the past. And be selective on who you tell things to and who you involve in your life and your situations, because just because the grass is greener on the other side does not mean you should go over to it, because even some things that are enticing are actually there to hurt you and people as well. So that's what I would say, and that's what I'm learning every single day. And it's a reminder that I have to remind myself. And people that want to listen to me will listen to you, and people that don't want to will just bash you, and that's okay. So you have to accept the fact that you will not be liked by every single person, and that's okay. Don't be a people pleaser. I've gotten over that. I mean, I still, sometimes it happens in life, but it really comes down to, are you doing the best for you? Because if you can't take care of yourself.
Awesome, man. That's good. You said something about being a people pleaser and not worrying about what people are in your life. One of my favorite sayings is people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And there's always a lesson with each person. And so, yeah, that just has always stuck with me. But Carson, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you pouring into the audience here, and being my first guest on the stories that shape us. It's been great kind of getting to hear your perspective on life and hear about how purpose is shaping your every move along the way. If you want to follow Carson, his Instagram is Carson Step 93, and his Facebook is Carson Stephens. I'll tag him in the show notes, and you can go ahead and follow him over there. Any final thoughts, Carson, before you jump off?
Like I said, I just want to just thank you for allowing me to be on here, Brock. It was like a true honor, true pleasure, and I feel truly blessed that you asked me. It means a lot to me, and I'm very, very humble because of it. And guys, I just want to, like I said, I just want to encourage you guys to really be honest, be disciplined, and be present. Whatever that looks like, whatever that means to you, because people love you for you. Don't try to be somebody or something else just because you see somebody else doing it. I mean, monkey see, monkey do, but practice what you preach, because I mean, if you're not doing that, you have no reason to count somebody else out or put someone else down. So, if anything, you guys don't get anything else besides this, be uplifting, be upbeat, be positive, because even the simplest of smiles can change someone's day, someone's week, someone's month, someone's year, someone's life. So it's the little things that matter in life. It's the small things that have the biggest reward. So it's not all monetary, it's not all financial. It could be physically, emotionally, and socially.
Amen, brother. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, after talking with Carson today, one thing is clear that finding your purpose isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. It's a journey, a process of truly discovering who you are and what motivates you. How can you make a difference in your everyday life, in your community, in your home, right? Ultimately, it's about taking action and it's not about waiting for some lightning bolt moment. It's about placing yourself in situations that challenge you, that inspire you, and that will eventually guide you towards your next journey. So I want to break it down on 5 kind of ways to find your purpose. Um, so how do you actually go about finding your purpose? You might be wondering, right? So here's 5 ways that I've discovered to unlock my true purpose. First, explore new experiences. Step out of your comfort zone, try something new. Because I've found if you're stuck in what's familiar, how will you ever discover what truly excites you? So if you step out of the familiar and take on challenges that push you forward and try new things, travel to new places, pick up new hobbies, volunteer, I don't know, strike up a conversation with someone who sees the world completely differently. Because our country is divided. But you know what? Open up your mind and have that conversation. Every new experience reveals something about you. And even if it's showing you just what doesn't align with your purpose, that's okay too. Number 2, I want you to educate yourself regularly. Growth doesn't stop when you finish school. Continue to read books, listen to podcasts like this one, take courses, learn from people who have walked the path before you. The ones that have more knowledge, you'll gain. That's free information. The clearer your vision becomes about your impact you want to make, sometimes your purpose is hidden in the wisdom you've yet to discover. That's what I've found. Stepping into the world of podcasting, I've identified this third topic, and that's identifying our passions. What gets you excited? What is the thing that you could talk about for hours and hours and hours without ever getting bored? For me, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's beside the point. Your passions are clues to your purpose, but your passions alone, that isn't enough. You need to connect them to something bigger than yourself. I want you to ask yourself, how can I use what I love and the gifts that God has given me to serve others? Create something meaningful and make a lasting impact. So fourth, I want you to visualize your future. Just take a moment, close your eyes. I want you to visualize the life that you truly want by answering these next few questions. Carson, you're still looking at me. Close your eyes. Where are you? What does
I'm
your
still
day
here.
look like? Who are you surrounded by? How are you making an impact? What kind of legacy are you building? Now sit with that vision. Feel it. Let it burn inside you. And once you have a clear picture of where you want to go and the choices you want to make along the way, your choices will eventually begin to shift to align with that vision. You'll start making decisions for that future instead of just living in the moment. Remember, your purpose isn't just about what you do right now. It's about the future that you're actively creating. So, what steps are you taking today to actively bring that future to life for tomorrow? When you have a clear vision of where you want to go, you start making the decisions that align with that vision. Purpose isn't just about what you do today, it's about the future you're creating. And finally, number 5, this one's most important, connect with others. Purpose isn't found in isolation. I've found it to be in relationships, in community, and learning from people around you that inspire you. Surround yourself with people who push you to be better, who challenge you, and most importantly, those who believe in your potential. As the saying goes, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that's so beautiful because you can pick and choose who you want to be around, and eventually you'll be molded into the average of those 5. So sometimes your purpose is revealed through the people you meet and the impact you make in their lives. But at the end of the day, your purpose isn't something that you just wake up to and find. It's not going to be some lightning bolt moment, like I said earlier. It's something that you have to build and work towards daily. Success is daily, and that's probably why people fail. They just have to do it daily, day in and day out. But step by step, experience by experience, it's about taking action, staying open, and trusting that every step forward, even the small ones, like what Carson talked about, they're shaping you into the person that you're meant to be. So I challenge you to take action today, start exploring, keep learning, follow what excites you, see the bigger picture, but most importantly, surround yourself with people who remind you that you were made for something greater. I want to remind you that your purpose, it's out there, but it's up to you and only you to go out there and truly discover it. So let me ask you this, those that are listening, have you ever made a plan, like a rock solid plan that you were so sure was going to work out, only to watch it completely fall apart? Yeah, a lot of us have. Maybe it was a job that you thought was a perfect fit. Maybe it was a relationship you thought would last, or a business idea that you poured everything into. You mapped it all out and you did everything quote unquote right, and it just still didn't work out. In that moment, that frustration, confusion, maybe anger, it hits you because you felt like you had it all figured out, because you thought you were on the right path at the right time, but you weren't. But now you're just standing there wondering at a crossroads of what went wrong because you swore you had it all figured out, or at least you thought you did. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, me too. So I want to open up the Bible here and read scripture from Proverbs 19:21. And in that scripture it says, many are the plans in a person's heart, but the Lord's purpose, that's what prevails. And honestly, I believe that that couldn't be more true. We live in a world that tells us to map everything out, to grind, to hustle, to set goals, and to chase them down with everything we've got. And don't get me wrong, ambition is good. Working hard, that's good too. But if you're not careful, we start believing that our plans and our timing are the ultimate authority. I've been there, trust me. I think we all have. That if we just push hard enough, that we can make anything happen. What happens when that relationship that you thought would last forever falls apart? What do you do when life takes an unexpected turn and suddenly you're left standing there with your hands in your pocket wondering what went wrong? Like I said, I have been there. I have been there many times, more than I can count and more than I'd like to admit. But I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this. But that's where faith comes in. And that's where trust comes in. Because there's one thing that God's purpose, it will always prevail. Not sometimes, not maybe, always. And that's not to say that setbacks aren't painful or that the closed doors don't sting, because they do. But what if that door that had stayed shut happened for a reason? What if there's something on the other side that was better and God redirected you towards that? What if that disappointment was actually protection from God? What if God is redirecting you to not harm you, but to set you up for something bigger, better, greater? I often think about my own life, the plans I made, the things that I was certain would happen, only to watch them fall apart. And at the time, I didn't understand it. I honestly resisted it. But looking back, I can see God's hand in it all. The things I lost often cleared the way for what I truly needed, even if it was something that I didn't realize at the time. The setbacks have eventually molded me, and that the closed doors had guided me towards something better. So those out there that are listening, I encourage you that if you're going through a season where things aren't going exactly as planned, I want to encourage you to take heart, to stay committed, and to remember God's purpose has not changed for generations and centuries. And your story isn't finished. Keep planning, keep working, but also you have to make space for what God is working in your life. Because when the Lord's purpose takes the lead, you won't just end up exactly where you want to be, you'll end up exactly where you're destined to be. So, in conclusion, as I wrap up today's episode with Carson, I just want to say thank you for stopping by. We discussed the topic of unlocking your true purpose. And when I was doing some research on this topic, I came across this quote on Pinterest by Ash Alves that really resonated with me in a profound way. It goes, I have to remember it now. Your life's purpose is always making itself known, even in the most subtle ways. Pay attention to what moves you, the things that interest you the most, your skills and your natural gifts. To me, that's a reminder that when things don't go as planned, our purpose is still unfolding. Sometimes it's not about chasing down something. We need to slow down and pay attention to what's truly right in front of us. So let me ask you this. What is it that truly excites you? What is it that comes naturally to you? What do people always turn to you for? For Carson, it's advice. Those little clues along the way are always pointing you in the right direction. So as we wrap up this episode, remember that your true purpose is often right in front of you. It's revealed in the everyday moments that inspire you. Your true purpose isn't hidden away in some distant place. No, it's here, woven into the very fabric of your everyday life. So I want you to take a moment to slow down, pay attention, and to notice what truly stirs your soul. What lights a fire inside of you? Notice that and notice the things that capture the interest of you, the moments that ignite a fire in you. These are often key clues to unlocking your true purpose, your natural skills, and your gifts. They're not just random, but they are the very building blocks of your purpose. When you harness what excites you and you use it to shape your journey, you're honestly tapping into a superpower that can transform your life. So today, I challenge you to be fully present, to notice what moves you and use your God-given gifts to create a future that you often envision, that you think about often. I'd like to also give a special shout out and a big thank you to our amazing listener, Carrie Bauer from Montana, for inspiring this week's challenge. It's a call to action to reflect. And so, with that in mind, I encourage you to reflect on what fuels you and your passion and share one step you're taking towards your dream. Post your purpose in the comments so others can be inspired by your journey. Because remember, your purpose is always speaking to you. Sometimes it's in the quiet moments, and sometimes through the challenges that help you grow along the way. So before we wrap up, I have some awesome, exciting news. Next week, we're bringing in another incredible guest on the Stories That Shape Us podcast. Their journey is one that you won't want to miss. It's a powerful lesson of raising above the circumstances given to you, with unexpected twists and turns, and the kind of wisdom that makes you see life in a whole new way. I truly can't wait to dive into their story and uncover more insights and continue to explore how our experience shape us into who we're truly meant to be. So stay tuned, because this next episode is going to be something truly special. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of this journey with me and Carson today, and for trusting your purpose, that it's unfolding just as it should. So until next week, keep your eyes open, keep your heart engaged, because your purpose is closer than you think. And this is the stories that shape us. Join us each week as we hear real stories, real growth, and real impact. Thank you for listening.